How was the weekend? That was a great question, Emmett. A great question. It was great, actually. Um, got a new car for my wife this weekend. We've got 3 little hoodlums, so that needed to happen. The other one was definitely not big enough. And then we also, what else did we do this weekend? It was the weekend after Halloween. Oh, we went to Auburn. Of course, Saturday we went to an Auburn football game with my in-laws, and our kiddos just loved it. They had so much fun. Auburn football games are super fun because they have like a giant eagle at the start of the game that like flies down all around the crowd and then lands in the middle of the field. Finding a heart that fits all the kids is a chore. We ended up going with a Chevy Tahoe. I wasn't planning on getting a new car, but then we had like a really sweet deal with we used Carvana, and they had like a super awesome like trade-in deal on our current car. So I was like, this feels like a no-brainer. We got to do it. Yes, more generative. Today we are going to do a generative logo. First thing that we need to do is find out where. I'm assuming it's the welcome page. Handle image error. Interesting. I don't care about handling an image error right now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and clear this all out. I wonder if this is considered a tag. Inside, nope. All right. Let's just go down. And I guess that part's important. We'll get it back later. I'm not worried about it. All right. What if we just go down? Oh. Boop, boop. Oh, that just deleted it all. All right. 8 down, 8 down, 8 down, 8 down. Does that give us what we want? Sure does. Because what we want is, we're just going to kind of play around with some stuff. You decided to redesign? Yeah. Yeah, I decided that we wanted to redesign it. So I was trying something new, which we'll take a look at that part as well. But I was trying something new, and I thought that it might be interesting to do just like a new style. Like, I've always enjoyed the idea of doing like illustration and having like a little character specifically. So just to like, as per usual, I have like that's not what I want. There we go. I have like a whole Pinterest board for inspiration. And originally my inspiration was, let's see if we can find the Made by Me board. There it is, Made for Me. My original inspiration was like this kind of stuff, like toon style, kind of illustration-y type of things. And I thought it'd be fun to like do that. But then it just, and I probably could have kept going down that path and just like made the UI not so toony and just kind of kept it to like some specific parts. Cause like, I don't know, like this one specifically, I was like, okay, I love this vibe. But then the more I like started working on it, the less I liked doing it. And now I've like kind of gone down this path of like this kind of stuff. So this is now what we're going to be working with. So that's what we're going to try to figure out this morning. We're going to play around with some stuff and try to get a brand new logo made. So the first thing that we're going to do is probably just hop in here for just a second and get like a rough idea of like what the logo might look like. Because I still want it to be like a letter M. But then it's just like the question of what that letter M looks like. So we're gonna work on that letter M. And like the way I want it to kind of like function is like this. So each of these, the idea is that there's going to be like I'll just call it like a cell that makes up the letter M, and that cell will get generated. I wonder how it would look if I just had like a little random guy kind of out here like this, kind of like that. Ooh, actually, so I kind of like that. Then the question is like, do we want it like a little taller? I think a little taller looks good. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that looks good. So this feels like a pretty good spot to kind of start at. And then what we'll do is we will take this concept here, and what I'm going to try and do is like randomly generate an option for each of these cells based off of like some preset choices to kind of make it look similar to this style here. So like you can kind of see how it's got this. It's probably not going to look very much like this, but like, or like this one, it's kind of got that vibe, and like this as well. So like what I want to do is create, and then that, like the big part about this is like, how big do I want the cells to be? So we're gonna try it at like this bigger size first, and see how I like it as like a little chunkier, because like when you think about it, like this logo is going to be kind of smaller when it does get rendered on the page. So we're going to start here by doing let's export this as SVG real quick. Sure. Ooh, tired. And then we'll go ahead and bring that in. There. We don't need you anymore, so you can go away. But now we want you. Oh. Let's get this SVG. Whoa. Oh, that's funny. Did I actually? Yeah, that's what I thought. We've got to group these together and try that again. And export as SVG. LOL. That's hilarious. Okay. All right. let's try this again. That looks a lot more like it. And I bet will look a lot more like it too. Let's go ahead and replace this all with black for now. And then like what I want to do is kind of say like for each of these threads, each of these cells, yep, there we go. Then let's just center this bad boy so we can play with it. Christmas song stuck in my head. My wife is like a super Christmas fan, and she was like, the second Halloween was over, she started playing Christmas music. Let's do class name, flex, item center, justify center. Oh yeah. Then we'll need to add min height screen. There we go, right in the middle. And we're going to make this guy bigger. So let's say width of 72, height of auto. Boom, there we go. And this is probably gonna look too big. I think we're gonna do something a little extra. My 2-year-old, he when he can't think of the name of how to, like, what something is called, he'll just end the sentence in like something and like use a descriptive word. So like if he can't figure out what like a spatula is, he'll just call it like a metal something. So now it's just like me and Allie, Generative Lego. Jesse. Now it's like a... That's frustrating. I've been trying to get my NeoVim set up, but I'm also like I'm doing a brand new NeoVim setup from scratch, and currently I'm using Vim mode in here, but it doesn't have some of like the nicer things that I've got set up. But anyway, with my kiddo, like now me and my wife have adopted like something into our vernacular. It's like the best part of having kids is that you just suddenly start referring to things as like language that your family speaks versus like a reality, because most people don't. William D. King, what is up, Jesse? All right, so here's the thing, Jesse. I'm working on my NeoVim setup from scratch, but I didn't have any time to do it, so I just like tried to poke at it just like a little bit this morning. It is actually a D. It is in fact a D. My middle name is David. Did you just guess that just out of the blue? And it just happened to be the right one. Because if so, I feel like a hacker now, but I guessed. That's incredible. It does. I mean, are you surprised? I just sound good, just in general. All right, flex. We want flex columns so that they stack. And we want a gap of 4. Let's make this a hefty gap. Let's make it 16. There we go. All right. What I'm doing here is I'm just making like a smaller version of this so that even though I'm going to be wanting to see how it looks bigger to kind of like figure out details, I want to also see it in a small version because it's going to be like a logo in the top left. So we want to make sure that it actually reads well, because it doesn't matter how much detail you put into a logo, the scale of the logo matters. Because if it gets shrunk and you don't see any of those details, it just can look messy. So you use you have to just like make sure like you don't design a logo in the big size only. You've got to like be able to compare the two. Oh, that's a complete one. Oh, that's a lot to go through probably. Oh, found them almost immediately. Like I like these guys. So the idea is that I want it to kind of have, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I really like my personal site too. I wanted to do something kind of similar. So like this is my personal site and it's got like these little like pixel icons that I really like, that I made myself. And like this is gonna, speaking of which though, for my NeoVim config for like the landing page, I want to make like I want to do this little crown thing as like my opening little thing on the opening page. I'm not sure what the right terminology for that is, Jesse, but that's what I want. But yeah, so I'm like, my idea is to kind of like look through these and just kind of like and just kind of see like, are there, I'm not going to use ASCII symbols, but I am going to use them as like as a basis for like what I use, so that we can do ASCII art-esque vibe. But basically like the way that I'm thinking about it is that I will have, see, I like this little like, oh, they're kind of like pixely like this. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna have just like a few different tile options is the way I'm thinking about it. Kind of like how we did with this one. But this one we use like a simplex algorithm. Speaking of which, I don't know if y'all saw the result of that, but I'll get that pulled up here in a second. Let me see if I can actually get it pulled up now. SC, no, S, yeah, SC at priv, something like this. Let's just go to that. There we go. All right, npm run dev. This is what we ended up with, as you can kind of see. So kind of behind this, which it's now like super zoomed in and I haven't worked on mobile yet. So let me zoom it out for a second. But yeah, so we use that simplex algorithm and it does this kind of like behind the text. So it's like very subtle. And then when you reload it, you get a completely, well, you don't normally get a completely different one, but it's currently set up to where you get a completely different version of it at the moment because we just want to test out what a bunch of different ones look like. But when we're wrapping it up, it'll keep this, each post will have a fixed background because it'll be seeded by data that is derived from like the post data. Anyway, all right. So that was fun doing that last week with y'all. But now we're doing this. And I think what I want to kind of have this idea of is like, I want each cell, we're going to do them as squares. There's going to be like a filled version of the cell. And there's going to be like a not filled version of the square cell. So it'll be like an empty one where all of these will be just transparent. And then there's also going to be like this idea of, there's gonna be this idea of like, what I want on the not filled one is I want there to be like I don't want it to be like completely blank, because completely blank is just like blank blank. So I want there to be something in the middle, but I only want it to be, which is tough because I only want it to be like a single pixel, but I want it to be like right in the middle. But I can't do that in Figma at the moment. because I saw that based off of, like, I want it to be like, oh, there's this one's blank, but it's got like a little something there. And then I want this idea of like a foreground and a background. And then there's going to be like potentially some pattern over it. And I'm just trying to decide what those patterns are. Because when you go to this stuff right here, let me open this browser up. That's not what I wanted. Like this one specifically, you can kind of see how it's got like, oh, that's got a different background color. And then it's got like a character as the foreground color. And then sometimes you can like reverse it. This one doesn't, yeah, like on these right here, where it's like the background is blank, but it has a foreground color on like the character that's filling it in. So I want to mimic that. I want to do that, but I want to make this bigger. I don't want it to be, we're not doing it based on 4x4 pixel grids. So let's make this bigger. No, let's make it bigger by a specific amount so that we have something to work with. All right, we want this to be locked, and we want to multiply this by 1.5. That might get us what we want. Probably not though. Let's multiply it by another 1.5. Now let's see what size each of these little 9 by 9. I like that better because then that means there's exactly one in the middle, which is what we want. And then I don't want it to be pixely. I want it to kind of be, well, now we got to get our font that we're going to use, because I think I want to use like some characters as well, not just symbols, but we want the characters to be something. And I want it to be kind of like, so there was this font that I found. Oh no, should I just yeah, sorry Jesse, not generative Legos today. I'm gonna go to this view for just a split second because I'm gonna look through my liked tweets, and those are private, man. You can't see those. That's not true. I'm gonna go look through my posts because likes might take forever because I like a bunch of people's stuff. So never mind, y'all can see this. There was this font that I shared, and I just put like a little heart eyes emoji and retweeted it. So that's the question, is like, what is... Isn't she so cute, guys? She's just the cutest. Don't answer that. That's a trap if you're married. If you're not married, also don't answer that. That's my wife. What are you doing? Alright. This might take a while. Oh, no. Ha, found it. Look at this font. Is this font not just gorgeous? This is what I want. All right, download free font number 76 below. And it's on GitHub. What a great font. All right. Oh, what a cool font. I think this is what I want. Using font download from the release page. Boom. This is what we want. We want all of these. I wonder if I could, do y'all think, I bet this has all of it. Let's find out. Yup. No, yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do the, I always wonder, I need to look into what the difference between like true type and open type, and I just know that you just use them, but I'm not sure what all the specifications are on them, you know? All right. Now I heard word on this, boom, that's what I heard. This is a cool thing that Figma did recently, was that like if you've ever used design software, you used to have to, okay, we're gonna use an M. A potentially, a D, and an E, and an F, and an O. I thought it might be neat to use the actual letters from the from the brand, so like made for me. Might be interesting. We'll find out if that actually is interesting or not. Okay, so we want Alpha, I don't even know how to pronounce that. What? None of them are pixelated. So how do I do that? Back to the internet. Use contextual alternates. That's what we want. Interesting. Let's see if we can do that in Figma. That's the question. Can we do that in Figma? Use contextual alternate. Oh, I wonder if it's only... We're gonna do this as well. Made for... Yep, that's what it is. There we go. Where it just kind of drops it in. Because I'm not sure how we would do maybe the details. Ligatures on rare ligatures. Ooh, I want rare ligatures if we have them. That's cool. Okay. So that's some of the cool ones. I wonder if we just kind of... Oh, that's a cool looking one. That's kind of wild how it just kind of randomly... This will be really fun as like the actual body text. There we go. Got some A options there. I mean, we already got kind of the nice uppercase N. But there's that N. Can't believe this is actually working. All right. D, 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 D. Okay. Kind of cool. Ah! I'm telling you, I can't wait for my new custom... What do you call it? 1337 keyboard. Let me just show y'all real quick. I'm going on a side quest again. Check this out. I'm getting this awesome keyboard from Jesse. 1337 keyboard. I'm getting this one. It's called a Nijuni. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. Ooh. I mean, no rush, man. You don't like kill yourself to do it, but I'm super pumped about this. And then I got, let's see, drop.com. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yes. I mean, they must have paid out the wazoo to get that. All right. And then these are the keycaps that I got that I'm very excited about. Oh, those are cool. All right. Filter by, search by MT3. That's the one. And I mean, these are so cool, but I didn't get those. Also didn't get these. These are kind of cool. I thought about getting those, but what I ended up going with were, where are we at? Let's find them. Come on, where are you at? Did I get the last ones? I'm just kidding, because they'd say sold out if I did. Oh snap, did I? Huh. I don't see the ones that I bought. wonder if I can sign in. Bye for a second. Pronounced leet, like gamer. Speak, or leet, like my last name. Now you know the pun in the branding. Yep. There we go. All right. Found it. Boom. All right. Now let's go to my orders. So it interesting. Is there a way to just go to my orders? Notifications? My rewards? My cart? No. Can I just see my orders? There we go. Where's it? You don't have it completed? What? What? Okay. This is wild. Maybe I didn't get an MT3. Well, I'll tell you what I did get. First we're gonna go here, then we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go switch tester. Okay, I did this. Is this the one that I got? Yes. So I got this because I was like, there we go. I got one of this because I wanted to test out all the different type of, I mean, this is not like all of them, but this felt like a reasonable, I'd find reasonably one that I liked to use. Because I've never done it. I've never just tried a bunch. I've just bought keyboards and just used whatever they had. And I used to have one that was like super clicky. I don't know what it was on, maybe it was like Reds, because it was like super tappy and like it was just like clack, 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 super clack. And Allie was, we had just had our first kid, and that was like the one that I'd always had. And I work from home, so she never knew. I think I've just not logged, like, I don't think that's the right login. But we had just had our first kid, and like she was like on the week, like during, so we had her in over the summer, and so she was like a newborn and trying to take naps, and like Allie was on, you know, maternity leave or whatever, and I was on paternity leave. But eventually I went back to work and started clacking, and she was having trouble with naps. And Allie was like, Will, you have got to get a new keyboard. That thing is insanely loud. And like my room wasn't that far away from like the baby's room at the time. And she was just like, you've got to change keyboards. Like, this is insanely loud. But now I don't have that problem. I don't have to worry about that. Here we go. Okay. I got the right profile now. Jasmine keycap steps. They are MT3s. Cool. But this is the set that I got. Oh, they look so, that's gonna look so good with that like dark. Is it walnut or is it stained? Either way, it's beautiful. And this is gonna look so good against that wood backplate. I'm very excited about these. Oh, they're so beautiful. So then now I just gotta get my switches and gotta get it. It's both walnut and stained a bit darker. Boom. Double win. So yeah. It's gonna be great. Shout out to Jesse. All right, so the last one, we need an O. And we need an F. O-F. M-A-D-E. Okay. Do we got an R? No. R. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. Oh, I like that. Okay. So then the next thing that we want to do delete that. And we're gonna do, oh, is there only one font weight? That could be a problem. That would make it only like a heading font, which probably makes sense. You probably don't want your body font to be crazy like that. Yeah, there's only one, which is fine. It's pretty font. Pretty cool. And it looks like you can get like random ones too. So we'll see if I decide to go to that much trouble or not. But the idea here is that we can then do outline stroke on these and ungroup. And now I will have like access to these. And then, so for instance, in this case, we're gonna pull this one out and we're gonna make this one just black. And what I'd want to do is like, see, that's why I think these, I might want to do smaller. We'll find out. All right, ungroup that again. Let's just center these on up. You need to be, oop. 7, there we go. Something like that. But yeah, we'll be able to test all these out. So that's going to be one. Then we'll pull all of these out. Let me actually start with, and then like we could have patterns like this. That get randomized in there as well. And let's just think about that. See, it's like when it's small, like it needs to be kind of these bigger chunks. Cool. Okay. So we might end up needing to do that. So let's go ahead and get, we're going to go ahead and get exports of all of these individually. So this one's going to get exported as SVG. This one's going to be solid. This one's going to be pattern 1. Pattern 2. Pattern 3. And we'll experiment with these before getting into the letters just so y'all can actually, we can get kind of like the algorithm set up. Pattern 4. 1 base. Pattern 4. Okay. Cool. And then basically what we'll do now is we'll go into here and we'll set up solid tile. Except we don't need to do them like that. Let's do it like this. Const tile paths. And we'll do it like this. Interesting. So now let's pull this in. Solid. We need this one, but we do need this one. And they're all going to match this SVG. So yank, paste, P1, P2, P4, and solid and clear. Except we're going to change this up once again. We're going to go back to Figma, because what we want to be able to, I want clear to not actually be clear. I want clear to be we're going to scale these all by lock them, make them 9s. Ooh, that was not good. All right, that one makes sense as a 9. That one, not so much. We'll fix that one. All these are probably going to need small little tweaks. To where they still kind of work, but are a little different now. All right, so now what we want is shoot, nine's tough. Being able to have a tile in the very middle. Maybe we make these all 8s. I think I like that better. And we'll do something else instead with this. Instead of doing one in the very center, we're going to adjust our expectations just a wee bit. And now we're going to have one that is like this. This will be like the things are clear tile. Shrink that to 1. There we go. Boop. Bloop. There we go. All right. Now let's export these all again. This is solid. This will be blank. P1, P2, P3, and P4. And we will export these as SVGs. And now we're going to go back out to those. All right, now let's get our SVGs in there just the way we want it. still want solid. And there we go. All right, and now we have our, we're gonna make just a singular tile that will match the tiling for this. And this is going to take a path, which will be a string. And path is going to get put, obviously, in the path. Well, this is a D. Path, and then the D stands for. That is a great question. I'd be curious to know. Should we figure out what that is? Stream. Because technically that's the D parameter. D stands for, any guesses? All right, SVG D attribute meaning. The D definition, the D attribute defines, yeah, so it looks like it's definition, path definition. So the D is the definition. Very cool. The more you know. But I'm still going to call it path because that makes the most sense as like a tile and then the path that we want. And then this one's blank. So, all right, I'm going to try yank in quotes. Does that work? Nope. You have to select it first and then be able to yank it. Or did it work? And I just, all right, let me try it. Yank in quotes. And then paste. It does work. Love that. Love that energy. All right. Then you don't have to select first, and that is just, so then can I bet I have to like select to be able to paste. That is not what I wanted. Come back. Dashboard. Dashboard's not what I was doing. Welcome. That's what we were doing. All right, cool. Okay, we got solid. Let's do P1. Yanking quotes. That's not what I wanted. All right. Oh, is it? 620Z. Yeah, that's different. H2Z. H2Z. Yep, it is. Very cool. All right. Very cool. All right. So now we have all of our SVGs. We can just kind of play around now with doing this where we want. All right, we've got an SVG, but we need like we need a definition of like the grid. Like what's going to define each of these are individual. So we have our tiles. And we're going to have our logo. It's going to accept class name with class name, props with class name. And we're going to return. All right, let's see what we got here. We want it to look like our logo. And our logo looks like this. Did our music stop? Let's interact with this so we can video pause. Continue watching. Yes. Need to figure out a better way to do music on stream. This is where we're going. All right. So this is a grid of, let's go to Figma again, so we can just kind of get our, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 by 5. Just testing stuff, people. Ugh. No. So yeah, 9 by 5. So if we want this to be 9 by 5, what we want is to define a div, maybe? Class name grid, and we'll go grid rows. 5 grid calls 9, and we'll also accept class name so that we can scale up and down the size accordingly. And this will probably get moved to canvas at some point, but this is what we got for now. I like I don't like trying to figure out all the Canvas API stuff at first, because like you've got to like render each pixel, and SVG allow, like once you get the everything kind of set up, you're golden. So now what we want to do is basically say const columns array dot, which now we have a use case for putting this in. Oh, but I didn't do this. So this is the first time that I'm pulling this in. So we need to go to, let's open Z real quick, because that's where I've got the W King project where we were doing all this fun stuff. All right. We want to grab this function that we used, which is get create array of length. Yank. All right, and we want to create array of length 9, and we want to create array of length 5. And then, like we did, oh, I don't even know if we've got this anymore, but yes, we do. Okay, okay, rows for each row, then each column in each row. Perfect. So what we want to do here is we're going to go back to this. We're going to say rows.map, columns.map, tile paths. This is where we want to make it an actual blocked function so that we can define variables, because this is how we're going to get our path. And we're going to start by doing, it's going to be very similar to this function here. We've got get from array by noise, but not quite, because we're just going to use a random number between, and we're going to say, we're just going to leave it. We're going to leave this as math.floor times value. Oh, that was broken. I had to fix it. We want to do math.random, and eventually we'll not have it be like a randomized, super randomized. We'll have it random based on like a number generator. These the tile paths, and now we'll just get like a random path for these tiles. But then what we also want to be able to do is get, so we're gonna have, they're all gonna be path is a string. Is this not a string? Path is a node. Tile paths exists. Oh, because it's not an array. Duh. We need to make this an array. There we go. Now that works. And then what we want to be able to do here is say class name, absolute, style, top and left. And this is all going to be based on like a, ooh, that's the question, isn't it? We need to have like a cell width. Oh no, because it's just going to be a grid. So top, oh, but no, because we gotta have, no, it's a grid, so we don't have to absolute position this stuff. Instead, what we're going to do is say, based on X and Y, we're going to have a column start. Shoot. Could do this the tailwind way, or we could just do it. Let's do it the tailwind way, which is kind of a little ugly in this case, but const columns. And this is all going to be based on, we want call start 1, I'm pretty sure. Let me just make sure that this is actually what, call start, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And we are going to basically make this a columns call and rows row, and we all know that call span is going to be 1, and row span is going to be 1 as well, which is a default, and I'll turn it off just to confirm that to be sure, but then basically we just need one of these for every 2, 3, 4. Whoa, what just happened? Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Column is a number. I'm not sure why this is getting mad at me. Argument of type number is not assignable to type string false null undefined. Oh, that's why. Duh, will. All right, column starts. Row starts. There we go. All right. And now we have, this is just gonna like do like a 9x5 grid immediately. Ooh. And it's all spread and spaced apart. Very interesting. Let's get that figured out. First, by saying that the path is going to be 0, 0, 0 for now. So that makes things a little nicer. And now by saying so everything is getting put in the right place, which is good, which is what we want. but we want all of these, right, width 72. We want each of these grids to take up I do width 100%. And height. Auto. Yep. Okay. That's what I was hoping. So if we go now to here, should have known. Full height, auto. And now let's go back. See, all right, now we've got this. So now this is giving us like a randomized grid of 5x9, but we don't want like 5x9 randomized. We want there to be specific gaps missing. So if like a certain XY coordinate is being, like if the XY coordinate is these numbers, skip it. So we're gonna call this, const skip chords. And we're gonna do this a fun way. We're gonna try to at least. If that's the way we'll do it. So we're gonna create a map. And we're going to make string coordinates. Yep. And we're gonna make them basically be the coordinates that we don't want there to be rendered one. So that's 0, 1, 2. So at 0, 2, 0, 2. And it doesn't really matter what we put here, so we can just put true. And basically what we'll say is skip, and we'll do skip chords. Yep. And if skip, return null. Otherwise. Okay. That's what we want here. Record string Boolean. There we go. Just gotta type things sometimes. Oh, I'm getting a phone call, friends. So 1 moment. That was our pest control. All right. Now let's get back to this. Okay, so we've got skipping coordinates now. So if it's in a skip chord, we're gonna not do it. So I'm gonna move this to where I can constantly see it so we can just get these done faster. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then we want 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. So for the rest of these, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it's going to be all the same coordinates after that, all the way down. So this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. This will be 3, and this will be 6, I believe. Let's find out if that's correct. That doesn't feel right. I don't think it's skipping. That's why. That's why it's not working. Because this is supposed to be reversed. Freaking chat chippity. There we go. That's looking correct. So now if we reload, we get... Alright, cool. I'm liking this. Now the difference is that we're gonna update this again because I want this to be... got a text from my wife. She's funny. Alright. What we want to do is we want to like skew our randomization just a little bit, and I'll get to that point in just a second. There's something else I wanted to do. Oh, that's right. I want to have 2 logos. And I want to change the height of the second one once again, like we discussed. What do we have it at? 12? There we go. Because then that bottom representation's more accurate to like what it will end up looking like. And now I'm not liking this one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're on an 8x8 and it's starting at 0 chord, so we want to move to let's see if I can actually change this. Move 4. Then go over 3. 3 height. 3 horizontal, 3 vertical. 4 height, 4 vertical. This is like the actual pixel thing. So like start at 4, go to 3 horizontally. Then go to 3 vertically, So instead of trying to do all that in my head, which I have done in the past, but we're not going to even bother with this time, because I'm just going to change it here. And we're going to make life a little easier. Delete that one. I think we're going to be fine if we just go ahead and bump this up to 2 and 2. And then we'll export. All of these, because now we don't need them, but we do want blank to be 8. But we still only want this to be 2. Why? It's because of this position stuff. There's like a... They've hidden it. It used to be kind of at the top here. And now it's not as easy to... No. Alright. Instead, what we now have to do is we've got to copy this one, paste it. We've got to make this one 8 by 8 with not being able to be seen. And then we've just got to center everything. Export it, and then we'll delete the path after. Blank, blank, blank. There we go. All right, bring this guy up here. See, now we've got a... I could have just used a... Well, no, I would need it to be a path. That complicates things a little bit. All right, let's go back to this. I just want to be like, I know that you can be this, but... All right, let's actually see if we can figure this out. This will be fun. All right, so the way that these work is we define a starting point. And we're going to use ChatGPT to do this because it can be fun. All right. I am defining an SVG with a 0088 view box with a 2 by 2 square path in the middle. Can you write that? There we go. Move to 3 because it's 0 indexed. Yep. Cool. M3 moves the starting point to the path 3 3. H5 draws a horizontal line 2 5 3. V5 draws a vertical line horizontal. Okay, cool. Yeah, that all makes sense. SVG's fun. All right, so we are going to let's see how that ends up looking. That looks better. You can also mess with things like opacity. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. The next big different thing that I want to do. Okay, that's kind of fun. All right, I'm kind of liking this a good bit now. Now we're going to, I kind of want to do some things where it's like some things stay solid no matter what. Like there are going to be some coordinates that just stay solid, because then if they aren't solid, then it won't necessarily look like a letter, which we want it to. So we're going to just pick some coordinates to kind of do that. And say, like, if it's this coordinate, it's always the solid version. And that's kind of like what you have to do sometimes when you're doing like generative stuff, is like you're not just letting the computer take full control. You've also have responsibility to like art direct what's happening. the solid chords that we want are going to be, like, I'm thinking we want, I like the idea of doing these three, and also like I don't want them to be the exact same on all of them. So this will be 1, 1, 1, 2, and 2, 1. So we want 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. What we also will want is, I'm thinking maybe like these. So that is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. Then they're always going to be in the 4 range, but then I was wanting not the first, second, so we want like, what is that, 4 and 3. 3, 4, 4, 4. Just doing that based off of memory alone. And yeah, we'll see if I want to add that one in at some point maybe. And then I'm thinking for this one we do like, what do we think? Maybe just like this section here. Skip this one, do these ones. So what is that? 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 6. And then this will be 7. So we want 1, 7, 2, 7, 3, 7. 1, 7. Yeah, 1, 7, 2, 7, 3, 7. And we'll see how this looks. Good old art direction. This is like the, this is like the reality of like stuff like this, where it's like, oh, it's all glamorous, fun. But like to create like good stuff, like actual good stuff, you can't just like always let the computer do everything. It requires like human tweaks. All right. If this is a force solid, then we know we're gonna do tile path solid. Otherwise, we can get random. And that tile path solid is not a thing anymore. It's just 0. All right. There we go. See, now we're more like, we've got consistency in some places, which kind of just guarantees at least a little bit. So this is like, if we're wanting to do like black and white version, and some of these look better than others, obviously. That's just the name of the game. And then like there's this other idea where we're gonna do like where I want to have there be a background and a color. So just as like an example, we can say BG foreground, text background, and instead of doing always this, what we'll do is current color. So now when we go here, like it should, it's like the opposite of what we want, kind of, in a sense. that to be kind of like randomized. So we want that to be currently kind of like reversed. So we want BG background. That's back to what we were doing. And then we want to basically define like a series of these where from those solid points, the ones immediately around it are going to have, we're going to call it dense, might be good. Dense chords. And then basically after all of that, after that, we're gonna be able to say if dense chord, if dense is dense, then we want we want the foreground. Want BG to be foreground and text to be background. Otherwise we want, I don't know if that's what I want to do yet. I think we want to stick with just doing, let's do colors, because that's like the next thing that I thought about. All right, const colors, and we're gonna do text pink, text orange, text purple, text green, text blue. Don't want red. Pink, orange, purple, green, blue. I think I like those color combinations. I might want to add like a very light blue in there as well. So maybe text cyan. And on this one, we can once again const color. We're just gonna do get from array random at the moment. I don't love this one. I don't love this, right? Like just as like the default. Because then it's like, ooh, like everything's kind of random colored. I do like that. It seems like cyan is not working, which is good because like it's still got some like some black in there, which is kind of what I still want. I don't like the orange color. That orange color is bad. I've got to redo all my colors. But this is, once again, just kind of hoping to get a feel for it, which is not terrible. But I kind of like the monotone. So like maybe it's like a duotone thing. And their like colors are paired. In which case I would want to do maybe like a, let's pretend that we're only doing blue and green. And also text foreground. It's not terrible. See, this is kind of fun. getting there. But this is actually going to get even smaller, and we're gonna. Is this frozen? I think my camera's frozen. I don't think it's working right now. Can y'all hear me? Elgato. Is there a way to like refresh this? Y'all tell me if this is broken. But I'm about to wrap this up. We made some pretty good progress so far on this. What I like about it, I do like these like little like patterned tiles a good bit. Those are fun. If I'm gonna change anything, yeah, the pattern tiles don't look bad. I think what I want to do is like add the ability to do like kind of similar to this feeling here that we were talking about, is like you can do just black and white, or we can do like this kind of feeling. And I want to kind of get close to this. Also, have y'all seen this? Look at this GIF. This is incredible. That is so cool. Whatever game this is, I want to play it. But yeah, so like these are vibes. These are like vibes that I'm going for. And so now it's just a matter of like figuring out the right combination to get that feeling. But now that I've got like a, ooh, that one's kind of fun. Oh, look, they're different because it's just using math.random. So like these are two completely different logos anyway. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably end up creating like some kind of algorithm adjustments to where like a portion of these, like we've already done the solid part. I want to have like a dense where like we're only picking from like the ones that are like a little more pixelated, and then on the outside edges do the ones that are even more pixelated, and then like play around with like good color schemes. But yeah, we will do that another time. This has been